Mutts. Let's give a hearty bark of welcome to Amy Porterfield. Not only has she created an extremely successful business helping with marketing and creating online courses, she's also an author, just like us. Her book, 2 Weeks Notice, releases on February 21st. So as both an author and a marketing maven, I thought she'd be perfect to share some perspective with us. Amy, here at Transmedia Mutts, we're all about helping writers unleash their creative bark.
I have never had a bark of welcome, so this is very exciting to me. And I love talking to other authors because, woo, this is not the easiest
Oh,
thing I've ever done to write this book. So
uh,
I'm excited about this chat.
yeah, no, it's a rough life we've chosen. I don't know what we were thinking.
Agree.
So, okay, speaking of barks, I know about Scout. Scout is your
Yes.
cute, adorable dog. So, because we're transmedia mutts, we always ask authors if they have a dog, and if they do, to tell us about them. So, give us a lowdown on Scout. What kind of dog? How old is he? How'd you guys?
Yes. Scouty, come here. Come here,
Oh, he's
Scout.
there.
Scout, come here. Come here. He's gonna come say hello. So this
Oh,
is Scout. He is never far from me. He just got a bath, so he's very
no.
fluffy, and he's just my favorite thing in the whole world. I really do feel that I'm a anxiety, stressful person. I have lots of anxiety and stress, right? I feel like he's like my therapy dog, even though he really isn't. So he's like, "Can I lay down now?" But yes, I love my dog.
Well, that's cool. And that's what, I'm the same way. I've had dogs, my entire life. I've always had at least one, usually two, three, or three. So, when it was time to start this little business, I decided it had to go dogs, had to be dogs. And so,
Had to be.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So speaking of, it's time to get down to business. So speaking of business, that is what your book is all about. Um, and it was one of those things when I was reading it, um, I think one thing people don't talk about is the fact that writing a book, publishing a book, more even than writing a book, is very much like starting your own business. I mean, it's very much the same things. Researching
Yes.
your target readers, once you get the publishing deal, marketing, publicity, email lists, social media, they're very, and it was like going through 2 weeks notice. I'm like, wait a minute, these are so much line by line the advice you hear when you're writing a book. So did you find writing 2 weeks notice, did you find a lot of similarities between starting your own business and writing the book?
Absolutely. And putting together this book, you're right. So the writing of the book, for sure, understanding who I'm writing to, what my message is, what I'm putting out in the world, really navigating how I want to lay it all out. That all comes when you're creating a business as well.
Mhm.
Inside my book, 2 Weeks Notice, I literally map out a roadmap of how you get a business started from scratch, from websites to social to content to email. Like all of it is essential. And when I was writing my book, I felt like, and it felt very new to me, very unknown, which is also part of building a business. Everything feels new and exciting and very confusing. So I felt that. But what was also interesting is marketing the book. So I've never marketed a book in my life, but what I did, and I think a lot of people listening can do this, I asked myself, where are my strengths? Just like you would ask when you're starting a business, where are my strengths? What do I do well? And because I already have a business, I knew I did webinars and masterclasses well. I did digital courses well. I did email marketing well. So for me, I went back to my roots of what I did well and just put my book into that type of marketing strategy. So much of what I know, yes, has been aligned with this book because I didn't know any other way to do it.
Right.
So absolutely.
Yeah, no, yeah, and I think it matches up so well. Like, I mean, especially you know uh, when you're not getting a lot of support from publishers, for those of us with, smaller publishers, or, I mean, a majority of authors don't get much support
I
nowadays.
think I hear that across the board.
Yeah.
I've had friends with $2 million advances and they say like the publisher doesn't do as much as I thought.
Yeah, exactly. And so, you're just out there grinding, trying to figure out, with, battle the butts and battle the brains, you're just trying to come up with creative ways, and then you're not saying the same thing every day. And what do you do? What do you do to get it out there? And so, it's helpful then to come at it from a different perspective. You're not, you love your book, but it's hard to put yourself out there with your book.
Yeah,
But if you
very.
frame yourself as a business owner, I am a business owner. I am trying to get my words out there. That's my business. So put that hat on, your business person hat on, and coming at it from that approach rather than I'm an author and my words are precious and
Yeah,
that type of
that's such a great point. I think the benefit I've had in this is I am a marketer first, author second.
thing.
And there's no right or wrong way, author first, marketer second. No right or wrong, because the book would have been way more enjoyable to write if I was an author first. I
Yes, yes,
definitely struggled.
yes.
But because I'm a marketer first, I did find that like I was able to get creative and very strategic on how to market the book and get it out there. So there's benefits either way, definitely. So it's a silver lining.
Yeah, yeah. That's true, that's true. Well, I know one of the things you talk about a lot, in the book is your ideal customer avatar, and that is, like, one of the big chunks of advice that you get when you're kind of probably not even starting out, but kinda your mid-level writing is like, okay, you're supposed to imagine your ideal reader and that you're writing for that kid if you're a kid author or that adult, and so
Yes.
it's again, that was another place I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much overlap here. So I guess could you talk to us a little bit about the process for finding that ideal person, whether they're your ideal customer or your ideal reader?
Reader, yes. So one of the things that I like to do is I start out with, what my topic is. And a lot of people, like, especially when they're going to start a business, they're like, what would I even start a business around? I'm not even sure. What would I write a book about? I think it all starts with looking inward.
Mm,
Where are my strengths, my knowledge, my skill set, my passions? What do people ask me about? What do I do well? Where have I gotten results? All of that. But the next question you ask is who you want to serve
mhm,
and who your ideal customer avatar is going to be. And really, the two are aligned. So if you start with what kind of topic, what do I want to create? What do I want to do? Okay, who now is this best suited for? What kind of problems are these people having that I could solve? So in the case of 2 weeks notice, I thought, okay, I know I want to write a book about how to transition from 9 to 5 into your own business. And I knew I wanted a guidebook of exactly how to build the business. So then I think, well, who is this for? Well, then it becomes pretty easy. It's for anybody who's in a 9 to 5 job that wants to make that transition. But then I actually took it down a little bit further and thought this book is for men and women for sure. Men and women can get the exact same value of it. But I think there is part of me that's speaking to women more than men in the book, just because I understand what it is like to hit the glass ceiling. I understand what it's like to be the only woman in the boardroom. And so there's usually unique things to women in the 9 to 5 that they want to get out of that are
mhm,
different for men. And so I really just had to ask myself, who do I want to serve? And here's the thing that happens a lot. A lot of times we're serving someone that's very much like us, but years ago. And
mhm.
that's not always the case. But for me, yeah, there's a woman in a cubicle right now, doesn't realize there's this whole other world of entrepreneurship waiting for her. I was her. So I tend to serve people that I've been in their shoes before. So
Yeah.
that's typically how I find my avatar. Not the only way to find it though.
Right, yeah. Well, I'm actually gonna then I had a question later, but I'm gonna jump down because what you said is perfectly dovetailed into it. Is it imposter syndrome? I mean,
Mm,
I'm guessing in the business world it's there, but I mean with authors, it's like, whoa. I mean, it's imposter syndrome like crazy. You're always looking at, what
yeah.
other people are doing and your awards and lists and reviews
Oh,
and
all
tons
the
and tons and tons.
things.
And so, and I was in the business world for the first 15 years of my life too. So I get it, it's on both, I've seen it on both hands. And I will say another thing you touched on, more women, imposter syndrome really just,
Yes.
yes, it's for us. And
It's
so
so
I guess,
funny. I was with a group of men recently and some women, and some man said something like, "Oh, I don't know how to do it, but I'm just going to figure it out." And like he didn't even think twice. Where
right.
a lot of my female friends, including me, are like, "Wait, I don't know how to do that. What are people going to say if I put myself out there and I don't have it all figured out yet?" So
Exactly.
it's very unique. So imposter syndrome is alive and well with both men and women, but I see it a lot in women, and I absolutely have experienced this. So when I was first starting out, I left my 9 to 5 job and I started to help people do their social media. My business looks very different today, which
Mhm,
tends to happen when you start out. The business you start with morphs dramatically over time. And so I was doing social media, but I was also making a bunch of videos around social media. So I made all these videos. And one day my husband came into my office and said, "You make videos every day, but I can't find them online. I want to support you and like them. And where are all these videos?" I'm like, "Oh, I haven't published any of them." And we're like talking months of making videos. And he said, "Why?" And I said, I'm so afraid of what my old coworkers are going to
Oh,
say about me. I'm so afraid that someone's going to be like, who does she think she is? She doesn't know. She didn't do that in her job. She doesn't know what she's talking about. No matter how good at it I was afraid of what everyone else was going to say about me. And
oh,
so it literally kept me playing small for months and months. So I have a good friend that told me if they're not paying the bills, they don't get an opinion. And that was really eye opening for me, that these people that I was so afraid of what they were going to say about me, they're not paying the bills. They're not behind the scenes with me. They're not building this business. They don't get an opinion
yeah,
at all.
yeah,
And so I had to really step into that. Entrepreneurship is 90% personal growth. Like you get a light shown on you of all your insecurities, challenges, and strengths.
okay.
You have to kind of sort them all out. And so, yeah, imposter syndrome was alive and well, especially when I was starting out.
Yeah, okay. Oh gosh. Okay. That actually makes me feel so much better. You know, to know that you
Right?
got
It's
all
so
these videos.
important. Yeah, there are some stories I tell in the book that I did not want to tell because they don't paint me in a good light and it's
Yeah.
embarrassing or shameful or whatever. But just what you said, I want people to read the book and think, oh, I feel so much better. That absolutely happened to me, or I've been scared of that. And that's why I haven't started. Thank you that I'm not alone.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurship can be so very lonely if you do not surround yourself with the people and the resources you need. So yeah, that's why I tell these stories.
Well, speaking of stories, one of the ones I really liked was well, not liked, you know, it was helpful. Was a story about you got some unkind Instagram comments
Yes.
and made you feel bad. And so you reached out to a friend. And as authors, I mean, the advice you hear, I have heard so many times over and over again, do not go to Amazon or Goodreads and read reviews. Do not read your reviews. Do not, I mean, you just hear it
Really?
over
So
and
people
over and
say
over.
that as a new author. I
As a
didn't
new
know that's a thing. You're
No,
not
that's the
supposed to
thing. That's
look.
the advice they tell you. Do not, do not, do not, do not, do not. And I'm like, but here was me 10 times a day after my book was released, checking to see what people were saying. And so,
Oh,
and then, it's not gonna, as much as we want it to be true, not everyone's gonna love our books. And so I really connected with your story about how your friend helped you when you saw those Instagram comments. So I hope you could share it with everyone.
yes. Okay, so let's talk about this. So I was posting some stuff online and I shared an idea or strategy I had for business building. And this one guy chimed in the comments and he hated my idea. He thought it was ridiculous. And then other people started chiming in. And I freaked out and thought it felt like 5,000 people were coming after me. It might have been like three people
Yeah,
at
exactly
times,
right.
but
Like,
it felt like
he hates
5,000.
me.
Oh, so I called up my good girlfriend Jasmine Starr and I said, these people are attacking me online. And I didn't do anything wrong. It was just an opinion I have. And I'm going a mile a minute, like, what's going on? Da, da, da. She starts laughing and she said, you ain't for everyone, boo. Like, why do you think that you're Santa Claus and everyone's going to love you? That's not how it works online. And in that moment, I had to take a beat like, oh, wait a second. Why would I think that everyone on the internet would agree with everything I put out there? And so I really do think that one, we have to get thicker skin. And this is coming from a very sensitive girl. So I do not take this lightly, but we do need to get thicker skin to say, I'm not for everyone, and that's okay. Because who I am for, I could help change their lives. The people that do resonate with me, I could take them all the way into entrepreneurship and have a life they never even thought was possible. So, why am I going to let some stranger on the internet dim my light and encourage me to play small because I'm scared of what other people are going to say? I can't do that. But it's been a journey, it hasn't always been easy.
No, it's so hard. Like you get the one bad review. Like I have a 2-star review on Goodreads, and there's not even a review. It's just the rating. So I don't even know what they didn't like. And yet, and so I ignore the 70 other 5 stars.
Thank
The
you.
best book I ever read. My
Yes.
kids loved it and laughed their butts off. Ha ha ha. And so it's like, why do we let that one, you know,
It's so true.
dictate
I
all
was
good?
I was actually sitting in the airport this last weekend with a girlfriend of mine who's a New York Times bestseller. Like she hit it. She's done, and don't even get me started on the list. I can't even go there.
Right.
It's just such a whole other ball of wax. But
Yeah.
anyway, she did make the list, and we were sitting on our computers, and she's like, sometimes I like to go to the 1-star reviews of my book and just see what they're saying. And I looked at her, I'm like, why would you ever do that? And she's like, I think it's just good for me to look at it and kind of laugh it off and then move on.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, everyone's got their own
I know.
strategy.
I couldn't
I
do
didn't
that.
even know, I didn't even think of the reviews yet. So thanks a lot. Now I'm
Oh,
nervous.
yeah, right. Well, the one thing I do is to tell you if you can't help yourself, like I can't help myself, and you go read the the not so good
I
ones.
will absolutely be reading them. So
Yeah,
give me some
yeah.
advice.
So you go to like the classics,
Okay.
Kill a Mockingbird, Shakespeare, the it's something by Stephen King, the other bestsellers, the people or other people in your niche that just are killing
Okay.
it, and read their 1-star reviews. And then you're
Oh,
like, oh,
like
okay.
everyone gets them. It's
Exactly.
normal.
It's not you. It's nothing to do with you. Everyone's everyone has, you rub someone the wrong way.
It's
You use the
so
word
true. But sometimes I
persimmon
sit
and they
there and
prefer
think,
red, It's just
have you, okay, tell me truthfully, have you ever left anyone like a 1-star review?
I haven't. I actually don't usually review books, and that is because I'm an author that I have a
Oh.
really hard time. I'm like, I know, unless they were like literally cutting and pasting from someone else's book, how hard they worked on this. And so even if
That's
it's the
really compassionate.
worst thing I've read, I just couldn't. I'm like, I know how crushing it is for me personally to
That was where
go,
I was getting to. Like, I would never do that in a
yeah,
million
yeah.
years to someone. But at the same time, not everyone has our same experiences. And I think some people that leave really bad reviews feel like they're doing a very good service to everyone
No,
else,
yeah.
telling them
I'm
not
sure
to
there are.
read it.
Right, no, I'm sure there are people and people have their opinions and people, it's just, yeah. You just have to and that's what,
I wish them well. I send
yeah,
them love.
exactly right. Yeah. And I think a lot of people too, probably, well, maybe I shouldn't say that. I was gonna say a lot of people are struggling writers themselves. And so they've been through the wheel themselves and are like, wait a minute, I can write better than this. Cause I had that feeling a lot when I read like, oh,
Oh,
I know I write better than this. But
yes.
but on the other side, I'm like, I'm not gonna go bash because I don't know. But like I think there's some people maybe that bitterness creeps up a little bit and they can't like,
That could
I
be
don't
it.
know.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know.
I agree.
Oh man. So okay, have you been out there reading your Goodreads reviews yet? I was gonna like confess, have you been reading your reviews or you haven't been
No, I
no?
didn't even actually I don't even realize there are reviews, but I guess
No.
there would be because I have advanced readers.
Oh,
I'm
right,
hoping
yeah.
they're good because they are in my community, but I haven't read any yet. I will absolutely be reading my reviews. I just know my personality. I can't not. But I'm
Yeah,
also going to keep a really level head.
yeah,
One thing I work on as an entrepreneur, business owner, and now an author is that I can't take everything so personal.
yeah,
And when you start putting yourself out there, building your business, doing all the things, funnels and webinars and email marketing, it's just not, you're not going to be for everyone, like
right,
Jasmine said.
right.
So it's something I really work hard on.
Yeah, no. And that actually perfectly dovetails into my next question I was gonna ask you about social media in general. Like, okay, so for authors, and you've missed since you already kind of have an audience, you've missed out on the time to build the audience. And we're like, so 10 years ago to like 5 years ago, it was like, be on Twitter, be so witty and be funny. And, you attract your audience there. And then it was Instagram and create these beautiful aesthetics with your covers and you make them beautiful and you attract people that way. And now it's TikTok. It's like, okay, go viral on Book Talk. I don't know if you know about Book Talk. There's this whole thing.
Oh, I
Oh, you
do.
do.
Yes.
And you have to go viral on Book Talk. And it's just like, oh my goodness. And especially, and many authors are introverts, we're shy, we're camera shy. And so I guess just, and then there's a whole thing about should you be authentic versus be polished and, with the full face of
Yeah.
makeup on, which
Yes.
does not usually happen for me. So like, and so tell me about your thoughts on the whole social media and showing up there.
Oh, when I first started this journey, like I said, did not like to put my videos out there. And I remember when Facebook Live, this is how long I've been around, when Facebook Live actually became a thing and came on the scene. And secretly in my head, I thought, I hope it fails. I hope Facebook Live does not work out because I don't want to have to be going live all the time. Now I probably go live 10 times a week. So it's
Yeah.
like part of what I do.
Yeah.
So what I'll say is that I cannot possibly keep up with all things social media.
Mhm.
I ventured out into TikTok. I don't think I'm going to stay there. I don't think I enjoy making those videos. And so I think there's a fine balance between doing what you need to do to grow the business
Mhm.
and doing what feels right in your style. So I'm sure I could find a way to do TikTok in a way, and I actually have been doing it in a way that feels good to me, but that doesn't mean it's going to translate well. I don't think I need to be everywhere all the time. And so, you mentioned like putting a full face of makeup on and camera and all that. When I came from corporate, where we were always buttoned up, I was always in a pantsuit. My hair looked nice. My makeup was on. Like I had to present myself professionally. Then I come out into this wild, wild west world of entrepreneurship, and people are like talking about business in their sweatpants, their hair's dirty, no makeup, and they're in their kitchen making some coffee, and they're killing it. And that was like, what universe am I in that you're talking business and strategy and you haven't even gotten ready for the day? But people love that. So two things. Number one, I have to be myself. You'll never see me like fast and loose online, like not caring about how I show up. I care. And so I have to stay true to myself.
Mhm.
But also, I do push myself to let people in a different way, be more of myself, let my guard down. I absolutely have done videos with no makeup on and my hair messy. I don't love it, but in the moment, if I have something important to say, I'm going to share it. So it's been kind of a journey finding my authentic self in this online world. The best advice I can give is please be yourself. Do it the way you want to do. Your audience will find you, and you might not be for every platform, and that's okay as well.
Yeah, I like that, and I need to hear it because I'm like, I've got the accounts everywhere. So I
Same
have not
girl.
done
And
I
why?
haven't
Why
done
do we do it?
TikTok yet. I'm like, I can't do it. I cannot do TikTok. I
You'd
just can't.
probably be great on TikTok. Knowing your energy and just your fun spirit, you'd probably kill it. But listen, I'm not going to talk you into doing it because it's a whole lot of work.
Yeah,
Someone told me 3 videos a day to make it work. And I said, there's absolutely no way I'm doing 3 videos a day for TikTok. I cannot. I choose not.
yeah,
So we
no,
got to also say, like, what are we willing to do? I think
right.
that part's important.
Yeah, no, very true. And so then I know that because of, the ephemeralness of social media, you're very much an advocate of email lists, and that's actually how I found you at first, was from your email list building. Um, so I guess in general, do you have tips in general? And then I'm kind of specifically, which I'm kind of putting you on the spot a little bit, since you're not a kidlit author. With kidlit authors, we really struggle with like lead magnets because
Oh,
our
yeah, I
targets
bet.
are kids, but it's gatekeepers. We're targeting like teachers
Yes.
and parents and librarians. So I thought I was put you on the spot and pick your brain a little bit.
Yeah. That one is definitely more difficult. First of all, I always say that, and you already hit it, where whoever's paying the money,
Mhm.
buying the product, that is who we're marketing to. And with the children's book, you can still have fun and put some stuff out there that might catch the kids' attention so they can tell their parents about
Mhm.
it. But at the end of the day, who's ever paying, you need to be talking to one way or another.
Mhm.
But also lead magnets for children's books, I could see where you're like, what am I even going to give them that they're going to want to be on my list? So sometimes we have to think way outside the box with situations like this. So let's say you wanted to create a newsletter. In your newsletter, the value you wanted to offer is literally talk about the best children's books based on different scenarios or different types of parents or different types of needs of the kids, and like the books you recommend and why you recommend them. So they're coming to you as not you are an author of a children's book I like, but you are someone that really does a great job of kind of breaking it all down, shining a light on what I need to get. And from there, they get to know you and they really trust you and like you. Oh, and by the way, I also have a children's book. And
Uh,
so it's kind of like the second thing that's going to happen. You're not leading with I'm a children's book. I have a lead magnet. Get this?
mhm.
I'd look for topics that are a little bit more broad and general, where you're going to be a general resource. And then when they start to love, like, want to know more about you, you're also a children's book. And let me tell you why I really believe this. I was on a podcast with Jen Hatmaker. Do you know that name?
So
Uh,
familiar.
she, she's in the, she used to be in the faith space, moved into more general space for women.
Okay.
And she doesn't have a niche. She's kind of all over the place: parenting, relationships, food, clothes. Like she really covers it all. but she feels like your best friend. And she doesn't have a product in all those different areas. She just talks about those areas, gives value, insight, and you feel like you're talking to a great friend. And sometimes her newsletters are just general advice.
Mhm.
But then you start to think, I like this girl. What does she got? What does her community look like? What can I buy from her? You genuinely want to invest in her.
Yeah.
And that's how she does it. So that's kind of along the same vein.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, I know we're running out of time, so I was going to ask you one last, and this was kind of off the beaten path a little bit too, because I noticed in the first chapter you talked about that you used to be a sales coordinator in the publishing industry.
The fact that you know that kills me. I haven't been asked that one time on these
I
interviews.
saw that I zeroed in on. I'm like, so do you
You
have
are
any
right.
behind the scenes secrets that would help the authors watching this?
I'm going to deeply, deeply disappoint you.
Oh,
Absolutely not. And here's why.
Amy.
I sold history books
Oh,
and I was purely sales and I sold them to distributors. It was the most unsexy job I've ever had. But what I will tell you is that that is where I fell in love with books. And I wish I knew the name of this woman. You would absolutely know her. I found myself in New Jersey at this woman's mansion when I was a sales director, and she had the largest, most beautiful collection of children's books. And they were all in this white, huge shelving system that she has, and they were all beautiful children's books. And I thought, I could fall in love with this. Children's books are the most beautiful gift you can give someone. I love them, and I still gift them to my new parents and friends and all that. So anyway, yeah, but I have no great advice to give you.
okay,
Disappointed
fine.
at the end of an interview. I'm so
Okay, well
sorry.
then, okay, so I'll ask you. Okay, so just tell us real quick, what does a writing session look like for Amy Porterfield? What do you do?
Okay, let's
Snacks,
let's
music? What do you got having going
Let's
on
talk
for?
about that. It's an early morning session. I'm an
Okay,
early bird. So
okay,
we're talking 5:30 in the morning.
oh,
I'm at my desk with my
okay,
dog Scout.
yeah.
I have a really cool setup here in Nashville at my house where the whole upstairs is my office. This is a studio I'm in. People
Mhm.
always ask me, is that a real background? Yes, this is a little studio. Next door is an office. And then I have like a media room. So my office is really serene and quiet and it's just me. So I'm lighting a candle. It's still dark outside. I've got my cup of coffee right next to me, my dog Scout at my feet, and it's an hour and a half of writing, and there's a lot of angst, a lot of frustration, a lot of what did I get myself into. But at the end of the day, it was a beautiful process. I'm so proud of myself, and I think the authors listening can relate to this. No matter how hard it was for me, I'm so proud of myself that I got through that. And one of the best things I ever did was I hired an editor. So
Mm,
although I wrote the book and I had help from one of the members on my team help me write it, but we had an editor that we went back and forth with a lot, not the publisher's editor, but even before that.
okay.
And it helped so much to develop my stories and ask
Mm.
the right questions and dig deeper and move things around. So anyway, that's what my process looked like.
That's awesome. That's so perfect. I think I really like that you're digging deep, you're doing, and you did what you needed to do to make the book the best it could be. And I think that's
Absolutely.
the lesson for all of us, what
Yes.
you need to do. Well, you find the critique partners, you hire an editor, do what you need to do. So Amy, thank you so much. This was so incredible. Thank you.
Thank
And
you so much. And I
and you
wanted to mention that
oh,
anyone who buys 2 weeks notice, I've got bonuses. I create bonuses to thank people for buying my book. So 2weeksnoticebook.com. Go there after you buy the book, enter your information, and I'll send you some really cool bonuses to help you build your business and expand your email list and all this cool stuff. So 2weeksnoticebook.com. But you can find the book, of course, wherever you buy books.
perfect, perfect.
Thank you, friend.
Guys, give Scout some scritches for me.
I will. I'll give him
Scritches. All right.
tons of love for you.
All
Thanks
right, thanks,
again. You have
Amy.
a wonderful day.
You
Bye,
too.
friend.
Bye-bye.